Hello and welcome to another edition of Sand Shark Bites. I'm your host, as always, Justin Jarrett, and as always again, I'm joined by James Duffy with his ears a little lower this week. I understand this is your semi-annual haircut.
Semi-annual haircut, end of September haircut, once a year, whether I need it or not.
I think there's a lot of yawns going around today. It's been an exhausting couple of weeks. We've kind of been worked to the grind here.
Yeah, it's been exciting though.
But it's been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a little worn out. 2 days out in the sun and the heat out at Hampton Hall, but it was all worthwhile because women's golf, champions of the inaugural Sand Shark Shootout.
It's a beautiful thing.
I know you weren't able to make it out there. Golf is a tough spectator sport anyway. It takes a lot of time, a lot of commitment to get out to a golf tournament, but you bumped into a player and a coach this morning, leaving the studio as a matter of fact, and Coach Alexis Bennett and Emily Turner will be on the program a little later to talk about the Sand Shark Shootout.
And I was all confused.
The Sand Sharks were champs.
I thought it was Tuesday, and I was saying, don't you have a thing today? And they said, that was yesterday. It's all over.
We already won.
I was confused. I missed Tuesday somehow or another. So
a lot of fun. It was a great event. Hampton Hall, a fantastic venue. I actually hadn't been out there in a couple of years and kind of had forgotten just how nice of a spot that really is. It was a great venue for our inaugural event, and hopefully we'll be back there again next year because everything went off great. Pace of play was good. The weather held off. Everything you could be worried about at a golf tournament, it all went right, including the winners.
And it sounds like they used every trick in the book or everything worked. All the tricks in the book worked
everything
for them.
Everything worked,
so.
Absolutely. It was, yesterday's round, Tuesday's round, not the score I don't think that they were hoping for. It was a little bit higher, 309 after 303 in the first round, but still a good round and able to hold on and win by 7 shots. So it's a good thing for sure. Anytime you get a W and you get to keep the hardware at home for your own tournament,
Gotta
that's
love
a positive.
the home team tournament. You got to win that one. That's a key element of winning.
Absolutely.
Win the home ones.
Yep, you want to take care of business at home. And on the opposite end of the spectrum,
Vermont
is a long way from home, but the women's cross-country team went up there. It's home for one Sand Shark, Jamie Thomas, and that's why they were up there. And we talked a little bit about it last week that they were going up there, and Betsy Douglas, keep on doing what you do.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how well she's doing.
Yeah, she ran a phenomenal time. Off the top of my head, 22:07, I believe. Fastest 6K time in USCB women's cross-country history. Now, we haven't run a lot of 6K races. It's usually just 1 or 2 a year, so there's a small sample size there, but still, Joy Miller, Melissa Carter, those are the names that were at the top of that list, and they're not anymore. So Betsy continues to just dominate. She's won the non-Division I division of every race this year, all 3 of them, and she's won the Sun Conference Runner of the Week 3 times out of 4, and the 4th she didn't compete. So she's sweeping the awards thus far this year, and well deserved because she's awesome. And we're gonna have to make a hard decision about whether she continues to sweep our Athlete of the Week awards a little bit later. But we have some great candidates for that this year or this week rather.
In men's cross country, they came home with some hardware.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Fancy.
We saw Nick O'Neill wearing his medal at the soccer game on Saturday. They went up to James Island for the Citadel Will Wilson Invitational, and they ran pretty well. I know they were disappointed in their times. It was a slow course, but a pretty good showing. Nick was second among non-Division I runners. Chase Rodas had a good race again. He was also wearing his medal at the soccer game. And I was happy to see him, come back from their race and come out to soccer and support.
That was great, that was a fantastic homecoming game that we had on Saturday. Second game of conference play.
Look at you, Mr. Segway.
I know, there we go. I'm like the chief Garbaid of the Sand Shark Bites here.
It was a great homecoming game. It was a big bounce-back game, a big turnaround game, hopefully. We hope that this really inspires a big turnaround in the season. 4-0 win over Ave Maria.
If you didn't see this game, this was the game you wanted to see. This is the game you should be saying, oh, I should have been in that game.
For $7.95, you can go on Stretch Internet and you can watch it on demand and see what we're talking about. But yeah, a great 4-0 victory, dominated from the outset. Scored a couple goals early, which we've been saying all year. If they can just jump on somebody early, not have to play from behind, it'll change everything, and it absolutely did. Haley Pena with the hat trick. Alex
Managed to
Radu.
not hit the uprights this time.
Yeah, she didn't.
She
Took care of a couple rebounds, which is something we've struggled with a little bit, crashing the net and getting those rebounds. Haley put a couple in there. She finished with 3 goals. Alex Radu had 3 assists. Randy Anzik with a shutout and goal. She didn't have to do a whole lot of work thanks to the back line. They played probably their best game of the year and just shut everything down.
It was a whole. There was a lot of different changes that Heberling made to the starting lineup.
Yeah, he did. He shook things up a little bit, and it worked. Everything worked.
Beautiful thing. It was a beautiful day for soccer.
It was great, and now we're off and running. We hope so, anyway. Bus leaves on Thursday to go down to Miami. A couple tough games this weekend. St. Thomas on Friday, and then Florida Memorial on Sunday. You hope you can get at least 1 win out of that. A win and a tie would be great. 2 wins would be phenomenal. And we'll see where we are after this weekend. And
a couple of weeks
chips
before
fall.
they're home again.
Yeah, another trip next weekend down to Warner, and then back home for 3 in a row. And I think that wraps up the home schedule.
Yeah.
So we'll be wrapping up the home schedule early this year.
That SCAD game, which is almost at home too.
Right, it's in our state, so good enough. It's almost in our zip code, just over in Hardyville. So it's as close to us as it is to SCAD. Feels like a home game. We'll have a big crowd there.
In addition to missing the homecoming games, you missed that. The other thing to be jealous of me about is that
I am jealous because I missed this.
You missed the alumni softball game, the first ever, and hopefully it'll be the first of many to come, because we had a bunch of old softball players, old softball players.
Yes, ancient.
Most of them graduated last year.
Some of them are pushing 25 now.
Came back to play against the current Sand Shark team in a 6-inning extravaganza, which ended with the alumni getting trounced 16-5. But they showed up. They realized what a difference 4 months makes of not. You could see who's still kind of in training and who's not. There were some notable absences. Chelsea Blasingame did not show, but the ones who took the field were really in great character, if not in great condition.
Maybe not in great softball form.
The game was early. 10 o'clock was an early start for them this year, where last year they certainly knew what it was like to get up early on the weekends. This game was early for some of these graduates. They faced a young lineup. They batted all the way through. Every current Sand Shark player got to bat, and they batted around at least twice in that. And the alumni really put up a good show. Christy Cook was back in the circle for the alumni, looking strong. Sam Boland, there's a reason we never really saw her much.
Maddie Bird-Velez tried to pitch, as I understand. She actually made it through an inning, though.
She made it through an inning. Boland faced 1 batter and then was back out into the third base side, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone had a blast, which is what it's all about. I think Coach Laura Heberling does as good a job as anybody as keeping her alumni engaged. She doesn't have a whole lot of them yet, but she wants to start those traditions. She wants to continue to keep them engaged and bring them back. And,
it was fun and funny. It was a great amount of fun.
I hope that we see more programs kind of get on board with that, as we continue to grow here and add to our homecoming traditions, because, it was great. We saw a lot of former student athletes back this week for homecoming. Hopefully, as we continue to transition into a traditional full-service university, that we see more and more of this, and homecoming becomes a big deal here at USCB.
It was a great time. Friday night, I rode the mechanical bull to great embarrassment and humiliation.
I'm not as jealous that I missed that. I believe you described it to me as the equivalent of someone holding up a sign that says, "You're old," and punching you as hard as they can in your leg.
It was
which
terrible.
Sounds about right.
And plus the added humiliation of I looked like a piggy bank at one point, and they got a good picture of it. If you want to know where to drop your quarter, it was back there. So that's our roundup for the week. We've covered all our sports, both professional and
yes, and what a note to end on. But so maybe we'll bring it back around and talk a little bit more sports. We've got Coach Alexis Bennett and sophomore golfer Emily Turner coming to talk about Sand Shark Shootout coming up right now on Sand Shark Bites. Well, I'm joined now on Sand Shark Bites by a couple members of the USCB women's golf team, Coach Alexis Bennett and Emily Turner, sophomore golfer. And I guess this is our first edition of the revamped Between Two Fins. I'm standing between two shark fins here. And champion shark fins, I might add, Sand Shark Shootout champs, as we mentioned earlier in the show. Coach Bennett obviously would have been very disappointed to put in all the work to put on a tournament and not get to keep that hardware, but no worries, a little bit of relief and a lot of elation on Tuesday to take home the trophy. Just talk a little bit about the way the girls played this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the event went really well. I was really pleased on sort of the management side, how it ran for being our first one and really my first event here as coach. So, yeah, definitely a kind of a cherry on top to win as well. But, yeah, that's kind of where our expectations were. Obviously, we had seen the course a couple more times than the teams coming in. Not a home course for us, but we certainly felt like we had an advantage, and all the girls were really playing well leading into the tournament at Hampton Hall. So I think it really benefited us to have those extra couple rounds. And yeah, they really came together collectively the way that we had talked about in kind of the pre-cap. Was really looking for 4 solid scores instead of 2 to balance out 2 higher ones, which really happened the first day to put us in a good position where usually we're coming back on the second day. We were able to go into the second day tied for the lead, which is not something we're used to.
Emily, a runner-up finish for you, just a couple shots off the lead. Obviously, a strong way to get the fall season going here for you. What does that do for not only your confidence, but the confidence of the team as you go forward into the rest of the fall season?
I think it makes a big difference to our confidence. I mean, last semester in the spring, we struggled a little bit, and I think the whole team put in a lot of effort over the summer to kind of improve our games and kind of get back to where we wanted to be, because obviously we had a really strong fall last year. So I think we just kind of wanted to reflect that again in the fall again, and no, I think it's good. I think the next tournament's going to be a good one, and hopefully we're all where we want to be. So yeah, it's good.
Coach mentioned, the advantage of playing at home, even though it's not Old Field where you play every day. But, how much does that help you as a player, not just on a course that maybe you're a little more comfortable with, but just, being in your usual routine, waking up in your own bed, all those kinds of things, instead of being on the road and being a little out of sorts?
Oh, yeah, it's a massive advantage for sure. I mean, it's a little strange. It feels a bit funny waking up in the dorm as opposed to a hotel room, and it feels like we're sitting there at breakfast oh, yeah, we have a tournament today. It's funny. But, no, it's good. It's a lot more comfortable, and we all kind of drive there together, and it's just it's almost a lot more at ease. You don't feel like it's a tournament, but then when it comes to it, it's obviously nice to play a course that you've played more times than the other teams, and yeah, it was nice. And there's a few holes in particular that you really had to know where to hit the ball to have a good shot. I remember there was this par 3, and this girl hit it, and she thought it was completely wrong, and we all knew because in the practice round we'd hit it, and that was the perfect spot, and she ended up this far from the hole. And I was I wanted to hit it there too, but it didn't really work out that way. But no, it was definitely an advantage for sure.
Of course, also nice to have a few fans out to cheer you on, some of the USCB community. What does it do for you when you're going around the course and you see a familiar face? Does that kind of perk you up a little bit?
Oh yeah, it's so nice to see people out there, especially because golf's not the easiest sport to watch. It's not like a baseball game or a soccer game where you just sit there. You kind of have to follow us around a bit and keep track. So it is really nice to see people there. And I keep saying that Bruce, the DPS guy, is my lucky charm, because every time I see him I make a birdie, so he better be there again.
We all love Bruce, of course, and no, it's great to see the support from the community and the Hampton Hall community. A lot of the local residents out there to check it out and cheer us on. So that was nice, Coach. What did you see out of some of the younger players? One of the great benefits of playing at home is you get to play all 9 instead of just the 5 you travel with. But some of the freshmen played well. What did you see out of them this week?
Yeah, I was definitely very pleased with Vanessa's finish. That 73 on the second day was much more kind of the player that I recruited and the player that I know that she can be going forward. So that was not a surprising round by any means. So, but yeah, this week's lineup was all freshmen and sophomores and all players that I recruited. So that was kind of fun to win too. Not one of those players was somebody that I inherited, which hasn't happened yet, even though this is my 3rd year. So that was kind of a milestone for me as a coach as well, to know that I'm recruiting the types of players that can keep the success of the program going. But yeah, very pleased with the fact that our lineup was really young and still came out on top. So the future is bright, and not many of them are graduating anytime soon. So that's really exciting.
And I know that you guys got to do a little celebration that's been in the works. Got to bust out the selfie stick, which I understand was not going to happen unless you took home the W. So was that a little motivation for you guys?
It was, and we had it. We had it at the tournament before as well. And coach said, "You can't use it. You can't use it unless we won." And we didn't win, so it just stayed in the packet. So it was nice to get it out. We like a selfie. You hadn't noticed.
Well, a great bounce back, and you guys obviously had a great time and have great team chemistry right now. We're looking forward to seeing many more great results. Have a scheduled duel against number 2 SCAD Savannah, but a little soggy over there on Hutchinson Island, so a chance that one might get washed out. Keep an eye on USCBathletics.com. We'll let you know if that one gets rained out. Otherwise, tournaments left at Thomas in Valdosta. That's always a good event. And then the NAIA Fall Preview. You say it's a preview. Is that a preview for the Sun Conference? That'll be the
tournament, conference preview and the national preview as well.
All right, so 2 big ones to get on the courses where the 2 biggest tournaments of the year will be in the spring. So look forward to great results there. Thanks for joining me on the show, guys, and doing this between 2 fins thing. Good stuff. We'll be right back with more here on Sand Shark Bites.
At the University of South Carolina, Beaufort, we offer small classes, individual attention, and an affordable education in an atmosphere that fosters diversity and achievement.
We are students.
We field 9 Sand Shark sports teams that compete in the Sun Conference.
We are athletes.
We are one university with 2 campuses serving the coastal areas of South Carolina and Georgia.
We are the Low Country.
We are the fastest growing 4-year school in the University of South Carolina system. We are USCB.
Shout out to Coach Bennett and Emily both for a little impromptu recording session this morning. They were not prepared for that. I didn't schedule a coaching guest this week because I didn't want to schedule them if they didn't win the tournament. And so we were flying by the seat of our pants, as we are prone to do here. And so Alexis did not get the opportunity to dress up for the occasion.
She looked perfectly nice.
And poor Emily, we gave her a 5-minute warning, meet us in the studio now. And she made herself up and looked beautiful as ever. So shout out to them for their willingness, and frankly, that's a standing shout out to everyone in the USCB athletics department for playing along with this little game we play here on a weekly basis. It's a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
Weekly insult to broadcast journalism that we put on here.
Yes, absolutely. I hope someone gets some enjoyment out of here and makes it worth our while. But we have a good time, don't we?
We do have a good time at the very least.
Well, you've watched us and listened to us long enough, so it's time to wrap up another episode with the Sand Shark Bites Athlete of the Week. And we kicked it around a little bit. We had a lot of strong candidates this week, but getting the soccer team off the schneid is certainly a worthwhile endeavor. And Haley Pena with the hat trick, the first of her career. She's going to be our Sand Shark Bites Athlete of the Week. She had an assist in the game against Southeastern, and then she scored 3 goals to beat Ave Maria in a 4-0 victory, getting USCB its first win of the season, first of hopefully many conference victories, shooting for the top 6 to get into that Sun Conference tournament. And hopefully Haley finding the back of the net a couple times will kickstart the offense. We know that the firepower is there. We know the ability is there. A little confidence had been lacking, but hopefully that problem is out of the way, and many more goals to come. So congratulations to Haley Pena and to the Sand Shark soccer team, and congratulations to all our student athletes for a great week. It was a heck of a week around here. I'm looking forward to a little more low-key for a few days, and we'll get back after it. We'll just keep getting after it this fall. It's flying by. Postseason is just around the corner, and it's been an exciting season so far. We're looking forward to great things the rest of the way. And thanks for being along for the ride. We'll go on another adventure next week. We'll see you same time, same medium, wherever you find us, on the County Channel, on YouTube, what have you. And until then, keep those fins up.